guys, Crew Blind Wave. I'm Eric.
I'm Shane.
I'm Calvin.
I'm Melanie.
I'm Aaron.
And we have a full table tonight because we just came back from watching Doctor Strange.
Except for this side.
A special shout out to Lucas Phillips, who is a wave rider who came and watched it with us.
Yes.
That was cool. We're going to do a non-spoiler review just right now, real quick. If you'd like to skip the non-spoilers, get right to the good stuff, you the timestamp right there. Just click ahead to that. All right. So, non-spoiler wise, this movie. How do you guys feel? Like, people need to go see this movie. Do that.
Yeah, I think it was really good. Guardians of the Galaxy is like my favorite one, and this is right up there.
Amen.
For me, it might be like Iron Man, and then either this or Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, the
original
original
first Iron Man, I think, is one of the a perfect movie.
It's
just
really
in the sense of like, this is a movie. This is how you make a movie, and that they did it awesomely. You know.
As far as like, especially as far as like an origin story for like a superhero.
Yeah.
Which like this and Iron Man both are.
Like, I never felt like it rushed at all. Like Doctor Strange, the only reason I put it over that is it did not rush because it was a 2-hour movie, but I did feel like, man, he's learning real quick. But that's because,
I kind of thought
that's
that
because
too.
of montage stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't know how they could have done it better.
No.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
was done really
I thought it
Yeah.
was the most creative Marvel movie that has been made so far.
It was certainly something like. Okay, we've
It
seen
was a spectacle.
We've seen Inception.
It was definitely.
We've seen Inception. Inception was like, here's an idea.
It's like
and Doctor Strange was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take that idea and make it crazy. Like, you thought Inception was crazy.
Shove it in your face.
Yeah, it was insane. Now, Shane, you missed like the first like 3 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
But that was probably the craziest for me. Like,
Really?
in terms of like
the beginning, the opening scene.
Especially not knowing anything. Like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
Why is this or that? Yeah,
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
But the spectacle was crazy. The story of Doctor Strange himself, I love that. When he starts out, we see him as kind of the asshole, egotistical guy, and then he gets humbled, just like all the Marvel movies, pretty much.
Yeah.
The hero is humbled.
You know,
and then
Tony
becomes
Stark.
The hero.
Yeah, Tony Stark is the same way.
So I'm happy.
Except
He's still the same way.
He's still the same way.
I love it.
He's never humbled.
And now he's a
Yeah.
suit. Yeah, I love it.
So I'm happy with that. I really enjoyed. We've had the cosmic realm with Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff, and we've had like street level with Netflix, and we've had the Avengers with which is the prime superhero Earth saving Earth, and this is something else.
And then we have Shield, which are just like the not even street level heroes. They're just agents typically, doing their stuff. So,
but this was just something completely different.
This was galactic.
It had really cool reasons why it doesn't have ramifications for like the whole world, even though it's world-changing stuff.
Yeah, that's one thing.
I mean, it's not like because we always could say like, well, why doesn't the Hulk just jump over here and help out when he sees it on the news? But they're not on the news.
yeah.
You have to look in the mirror.
Also kind of remind me of Interstellar.
Yeah, a little bit. Especially the score at some points too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then some points completely different. Talking to a lot of people criticize the MCU for their villains, and I would say the villain, which is Callus.
Cacalus?
I don't know.
I don't know. Did you actually like look the name up, or did you phonetically?
IMDb.
That was Caecilius.
Did it ever say in the movie?
Caecilius?
Yeah, they said it a bunch. I can't remember. It's one of those ones that people are gonna be like, "Well, you don't know that? You're no fan."
I knew a few names in this stuff.
Yeah, you do, and we'll get into that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be in our spoilers because something happened. I'm like, well, Aaron's probably really going crazy.
I know something else we can talk about.
I do too. I wrote down I wrote like 3 things like for Aaron.
Cumberpatch's accent was
Yeah.
on point.
Oh.
That's not spoiler.
I noticed a few times where he was slipping kind of
I don't
hard.
care. It was
Maybe you could
sexy
coach him,
as
Calvin,
shit.
on his A's and stuff.
You know
but
what?
no, it was really good.
Listening to him, for some reason, I kept on thinking his voice sounded just like Kiefer Sutherland's.
It's very
I was
similar.
like, I keep hearing Kiefer there. I don't know why.
Maybe
but-
Who is
he
that?
was listening to Kiefer 24. He also did the voice of Snake in
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 5 and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
I
I
can
kept
definitely
on
see
hearing like I swear I hear Kiefer there. Maybe he listened to Kiefer a whole lot and was like, I'm just gonna use his
As an
accent.
impression.
Yeah,
I've read
because
that.
I've heard him do impressions and stuff of people before, and he does pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's easier to do an impression of someone than to change the way you speak.
Yeah,
He does a really good Chewie.
does he? He does a good Alan Rickman too.
He does.
He does.
Aaron
yes.
does a good Donald Duck.
Yep, I did.
He does a great,
Yeah.
fantastic.
You're really overblowing it. Yeah,
Oh.
Aaron, you have to deliver now.
I'm gonna do shit.
For the people that are wanting like Avenger tie-in stuff, there's plenty of that in the movie. So if you're really interested in like where does the Marvel universe go from here, you have to go see this.
It's definitely a big thing.
Yeah, and you
The way
definitely
you can imagine how it changes and affects everything.
Uh-huh.
It's important to see,
yeah,
honestly.
and you definitely have to make sure you stick around for 2 end credit scenes because those are pretty crazy too.
Yeah, there's a mid-credit and a post-credit.
Yeah.
This is why I always sit through almost every movie's credit scenes now.
Yep.
Yeah,
Going on
even like Disney movies.
You never know.
You were going on about the villain, and then we stopped at his name. You were going to say, I felt he was slightly underdeveloped.
Well, it's
not his story.
I don't want to be like, negative on it because I actually enjoyed the performance and the way they did it, but he just,
Isn't he in Hannibal, right? Or something?
Yeah, he's in Hannibal. He's also
Okay.
going to be in Rogue One.
And Casino Royale.
Yeah.
The Bleeding Eye.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
That's what I really know him for.
Yeah. But anyway, what I was saying with him is that if you're looking for like a super developed Marvel villain, go to Netflix or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You get so
he
much
was
more
still
time.
cool, but
that was good,
he was a proxy for a bigger villain, right?
Yeah, this was
that spoiler?
Doctor Strange's story.
He was a proxy for like a bigger story, a
Yeah.
bigger reason of what Doctor Strange is going through, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, other than that, that'd be pretty much it. That's what we're gonna do for the spoiler-free section.
If you haven't seen it, I say go see it.
Get the fuck out of here.
Absolutely go see it.
Yeah.
See it this weekend.
Okay.
And next weekend.
All right, now.
And as long as it shows.
So now that we're getting into the next section, I need Calvin to, like he usually does, announce. Spoilers! Okay.
This is all new.
That's your thing.
This is all new for Melanie.
Yeah.
She knows what I go through all the time.
I know.
Sitting next to Calvin.
Okay. I took a big long list of some stuff that I could go over.
It's a book. It's covered in salt and butter.
Did you drop it?
No, I just.
I mean, I didn't have popcorn, but minus 2. Okay. What'd you think of the new Marvel logo?
Yes, that was awesome.
I've seen it.
You didn't see it.
I don't like it because it doesn't go.
I told Calvin, like, hey, get your Snapchat out. We're going to go whenever it goes, and it didn't go.
I hope they put that in everything Marvel now.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to. Or do better.
Only in the MCU stuff, right? They couldn't do it in like
Shield
Fox
and Daredevil, and Luke Cage.
No, it's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. The next thing, I got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff. We want to talk about that after. For Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans that want to hear us talk about like the connections between that show and this movie, which I picked up a few, we'll do a separate video for that when these guys aren't here to ruin it. So, okay.
Yeah.
These two fucked it up.
What's some stuff that you guys wanted to go over about the beginning of the movie, Shane?
Honestly, I would just.
You asked the one guy who didn't see the beginning?
Well, when I walked in, honestly, I was just really interested in his character. I mean, I figured he was going to be humbled.
He certainly was.
Did you catch when the car was tumbling?
His
hand snapped.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's integral to the Doctor Strange character, so I definitely was on the lookout for it.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, if you didn't know that was going to happen, that thing came in like he was trying to roll like a new nice car.
It was a Ferrari.
Yeah.
It was a Lamborghini.
Aren't those designed to?
It was a Lamborghini.
It was a really fast car.
Yeah.
It was a
Listen to
Lamborghini
Melanie, 'cause
Aventador.
Melanie thought
Italian
it was
or
a
something.
Ferrari.
Yeah. Like we've seen, they're really good about doing car crashes these days. They can like control it to the physics to a millimeter. They're so good at it. This was more of a CG car crash.
Yes.
But it was like I wrote down like this is fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Like it was when he just stuck in the side and it wasn't like it would just bang. I was like, ugh. And in slow motion you see.
Oh yeah.
I was cringing the entire time with the hands. Yeah.
So I knew all that was gonna happen and stuff.
And then
Actually,
how would you feel about those pins?
Sticking out of
Pins
their
weren't.
hands.
They didn't bother.
Now, how did you feel about that fucking needle?
Oh yeah.
Spoilers. There's a needle
weren't
like
spoilers,
it's like a hobbit sword.
And the plural.
It's longer than this pin.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like the whole here's the.
It's like this.
It's like needle.
Yeah.
And he just a little higher.
And at one point when it was in him and she shook,
Yeah.
No, she didn't shit.
I wrote down like needle Aaron.
I had to cover his eyes.
Yeah.
Like, don't watch.
No, I should quit, and I was like sitting like this.
Stop it,
And
Melanie.
then like I want to see what's happening though, so I was like trying to use this to block where the needle was. So I was like, what's going on around everything?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Shane said that he was pleasantly surprised because he forgot that Rachel Mcadams is in this.
I did too.
Because when we're talking about
I didn't know.
crushes in one of our mailbags, our last one, she's actually at the top of that list.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When it comes to just celeb crushes.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a crush on her since Mean Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just.
And she hasn't aged, man.
I was like,
She's
Melanie,
so good.
She was good.
Rachel McAdams. She's like, who? I'm like, Mean Girls. And she's so proud. She's like, oh.
Mean Girls, Notebook, and A Time Traveler's Wife, and some other things.
Yeah. I would say Notebook and Mean Girls, where I know her from.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the beginning. I really enjoyed his music knowledge. It made me think a lot of someone else.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know
It's
that
like,
song.
what's this song? When's it made?
Oh, you mean in terms of like no? What is it? What year is it?
Yeah.
Like,
You do that?
yeah.
Well, we would like be driving. I'm like, oh, Melanie, who sings this? She's like, this person. I'm like, no.
You sure can learn that?
But it really goes into the future. Like I like how it foreshadows. This is a very brilliant man.
No, I liked it. I mean, it was a very it was an audible clue of he just takes complete control wherever it is, and you have to do what he says. You have to do the things he does.
Like the watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after,
cover your watch.
Exactly. I actually like to cover the watch thing because it shows the attention to detail, which comes into play. And his memory and all that stuff comes into play later. Like, because I did say in our spoiler-free segment that I felt like it went a little fast. I also wrote down that his, like, you know, his memory and all that stuff would put him, especially, like, you're just reading shit.
Yeah.
You have to do the shit that it says. Like, it's right up his alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and he even said at one point, like, I have a photographic memory. That's how I got through medical school and stuff.
Yeah.
Got my MD and PhD at the same time.
Now, they also said that he was, like, particularly suited to practice magic.
Born.
Like you were born to do this. But
Psychoanal-
I wonder if that was more...
something.
I wouldn't...
Especially gifted in something. What do you say?
Well, he said psychosomatic when he was talking about the guy that had the that got healed.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, so the pain was just psychosomatic, meaning it's in your head, right?
Yeah.
So, and that wasn't the case. And I said this to Shane earlier. I was like, the guy that heals himself or makes himself walk with magic, he plays basketball. You think he cheats?
At basketball?
Yeah, he probably jumps a little higher than he should. You know, it's like
Clark's a little harder.
Clark in Smallville. Whenever his dad wouldn't let him play football,
Yeah. Spoilers.
he'd pick him up.
At least it wasn't.
Fucking Aaron.
You know what? Like, I was thinking, like, why doesn't Doctor Strange heal his hands and just keeps helping out?
Well, they had said, like, I think it was like a matter of
I guess
he could have healed his hands at any time.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
because it's not healing; it's
it
magic.
was
right?
it's dark energy that's using it. I think from the way they were talking about it.
Yeah.
She said at the end, like, the guy that walks and stuff, he didn't heal himself. He's using dimensional energy to make him walk.
And
so
he's just
Doctor Strange
controlling
could use dimensional energy to control his hands and keep him from shaking, but he just never does.
But he wouldn't have the full potential of using it elsewhere.
No.
Because it was taken away by Mondo. Spoilers at the end.
Yeah.
Mondo, is that right?
Mordo.
Mordo.
Mountain Dew.
Does that? But does the conversation they had in like the beginning of the movie when she was like, you know, you can change cells and how they adhere to each other and stuff. You can just do it another way.
You can put things back together.
Which to me made it sound like, oh, so she did heal them. But then at the end they're like, oh, he uses magic to do it. He's not really healed.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, okay.
It was using his like spirit to like channel the magic to be able to make his body.
That's what I was
work.
wondering. Like,
yeah. So anyway, I don't know.
I thought it was a very good scientific description of how magic is supposed to work. So it was accurate just about magic.
I think she was trying to get him to partially accept what she was trying to tell him without just completely coming out and saying it's magic.
Well, I'll tell you what.
And then when he wasn't grasping it, she knocked
punches.
Like as a skeptic
his
myself,
astral form out of himself.
like I think you said it like at one point.
But they're talking about it. I said, well, Eric, you can just leave.
Like Eric, you might just leave, you know. But I was like, you know what? For a Dr. Strange who, as a medical doctor and that kind of stuff, he was a skeptical person. If you're going to make him believe, it's kind of a kick in the ass to have him do it.
Literally.
And she fucking took him everywhere at once, you know? I even wrote down, like, what the hell is he even seeing? Because I'm having a problem seeing it, and I'm on, like, a nice camera, like, on a trolley,
like,
looking at everything.
Yeah.
He's going, ah! He can't see more shit than we can
The
see.
1 point fingers were growing out of his fingers and stuff like that. Or
oh
whatever.
my gosh,
Yeah,
man.
it's
Finger hands and hands and fingers and shit.
And then
Little
like,
baby arms, like,
I
grabbing
like to
stuff.
think. I like to think that Deadpool was reaching through the dimensional barrier of Fox and Marvel Studios and doing it with his little hands.
So, like, the way they connected spirituality with, like, astrophysics.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like which I think is fine. I mean, I thought it was really interesting. I liked the you could kind of see all these different realms and stuff like that. Steve Dicta art everywhere. You know, you're one of the original Doctor Strange artists. Like the like whenever they go back and it's like kind of like purple with like these giant balls and shit like that. Like that is straight from those comics, and it was pretty amazing to see like live action. Yeah, it did look like that. It also kind of reminded me of what we saw in Ant-Man a little bit, which we did see, like when she was going through all those things. We saw something very, very, very similar to the actual mini realm, or whatever that was called.
Microverse.
Microverse. Yeah, it was really interesting. But I like the idea that she's just like I'm not gonna sit here and explain it. Just see it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how he saw it.
Pretty little butterfly.
Yeah.
We're talking about the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
The very beginning just throws you in, and you're just like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
Like we kind of skipped it a little bit, but like whenever it first started, Shane, I don't think you were there then, right?
No.
But like, he goes in, chops off a guy's head.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay,
The librarian.
they want to steal a book, okay? And
Yeah.
he just takes that page. But then once the ancient one shows up and starts fighting them, I was like, oh, this is cool. And then all of a sudden, like, they had like mirrors around. And you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And then they start flipping everything around. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, what? I don't understand.
I love the
But
mirror
it was
realm
so
idea.
awesome. Yeah.
I like the idea that the mirror realm, like anything that's happening here, it's not like we're hearing about in the news. It's not like they're, like I said, it's not like the Hulk is listening to it and it's like, I gotta go help.
Mm-hmm.
Like anything, it could happen and no one is the wiser.
Yeah.
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 That's
That,
pretty
that
cool.
mirror dimension just is like somewhere else. But
And-
it looks like everything,
Yeah,
but
and
it doesn't.
with him being around all this time, it's also cool to think that he, they had that line in there too. Like the Avengers deal in the physical.
Mm-hmm.
We protect the spiritual, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, okay, there's one of these sanctums in New York. Why didn't these guys could have helped out the Chitauri invasion, but
Which the Sanctum was cool because like it looked straight out of what I've seen from like Spider-Man cartoons and
Yeah.
stuff like that too.
No, it
and
looked
I'm like,
good.
that's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
With the little symbol on it and everything. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
What imagination doing those fight scenes?
no, that was crazy.
Oh my gosh. The one where
Extremely
I just
creative.
wrote down like fight in reverse, but it's not a fight
Yeah.
in reverse. It's a fight in forward while the world's in
In
reverse.
reverse.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the?
I mean, you guys know I'm a sucker for gags, and it was just gag.
I
It
know.
was crazy.
Like the
Yeah.
woman being sucked up in the fish tank.
Like, I might go see it again
Yeah.
just to watch those scenes.
Throwing the guy in the wall, and he's like,
Yeah.
no! Oh my gosh. that's
Like
good.
instead of being, instead of an explosion, like throwing them, they got sucked into the beginning of the explosion, and then they start grappling. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Or like the one lady, like the fire was there and then it went out. She's
Yeah.
like, oh, and then she turned around and like a manhole covered, like,
Yeah.
hit her in
Yeah.
the face.
Just
like,
trying to manage like what these guys are doing and where you gotta think of what they're doing and where they're going and think about all the paths they go through, all the windows they fall through, and all the
Yep.
things crisscrossing each other.
Yeah, it'd be a crazy movie.
And
mean, that'd be like a
and being
storyboard.
hit by cars that are going in reverse.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff
Yeah.
is weird
Dude,
to think
it was
about.
such a cool fight.
I mean, I imagine I had everything on a big storyboard, scene by scene, but. You think? I wonder if like they could have these guys just fucking run around and just do everything afterwards.
Like Padme and the Droid Factory. Ooh.
yeah,
You see her on a blue screen? I don't know what I'm doing.
Like,
or
just,
she on a treadmill.
just run around and act like you're dodging stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
What I was saying, I mean,
Put
the way they
something
cut
in.
it, they could just have them run and fall a bunch of times and then put
Yeah.
everything else there.
No, I get you. I don't think so. I
think-
think with this was a lot of. They're called animatics, which is like, okay, here's an idea, here's an idea. They have like 10 guys go and do gags. Like an example would be in Lord of the Rings, when the Ents are attacking Isengard, and these giant tree things are just killing orcs. Peter Jackson has told these guys, like, just go and like bring me like really cool trees killing orcs. So these guys just came up with these crazy things where they grab an orc and are hitting other orcs with it. And they're like, they're like pulling branches off their head and stabbing people with it. Like half of them didn't make it in, but there's all these ideas and they just kind of
Yeah.
threw them all
Oh,
together.
that's
Yeah.
funny.
I
like
imagine
that really
there's something kind of like that, and then the editing process. I like seeing Avengers Tower in that little sequence too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it a couple times.
That's
Yeah,
a neat
that
little
was really
thing.
cool.
The first time it popped up, I'm like, right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now
So
speaking of
that sets it where it's like obviously this takes place, in this part of the timeline.
yeah,
came
it would be
before.
after
After New York, right?
the first Avengers movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be a little bit after New York.
Right.
Iron
So
Man
around Iron Man 2.
2.
Iron Man 2, like he was dealing with
Did he have it built in?
no.
I think it was still Stark
Well,
Tower. And
it was Stark
too.
Tower, but like whenever at the very end it had like that A, remember?
At the end of
The whole
Avengers.
thing yeah. So we never saw it until the beginning of Avengers.
Avengers.
So between Iron Man 2 and
Avengers 2.
Avengers 2.
Much thinking.
But speaking of little things like that to see, did you notice Rhodey in this movie?
Rhodes was in it.
When
No.
he was on the phone, when he was driving, they were saying all these different patients that he could take. He said there's a colonel in an advanced suit of armor that hurt
Yeah.
himself. Remember Rhodey hurt his back in Avengers or in Civil War?
Yeah, but that wouldn't fit in the time frame.
Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't though. But they said that.
Could it have
Didn't
been
it?
him? Could have been someone else.
It could have been someone.
What
Maybe
if Iron Man 2, it was Hammer? Remember that guy? They had the suit of armor. All right, now turn. Ah!
Oh.
What if it was that guy?
I thought they said
I forgot about that.
Because
Maybe they didn't say Rhodes. But they said a colonel though.
yeah, he said something. I mean, that guy could have been a colonel, but I don't.
Yeah.
Is Rhodey a colonel?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's him, then this puts it after Civil War.
It could be an Easter egg that doesn't have a perfect connection.
Yeah, like it couldn't be.
Yeah.
It could just be a colonel in some kind of suit of armor.
Maybe time was flowing through that.
I was gonna say, could.
Well, no, that was before the magic stuff.
Yeah, it was before all the magic stuff, and then he spent like.
It was when he was
What, 6 months to a
when he
year?
was being distracted on the phone before the car crash.
Yeah, and there was like the woman like with a struck by lightning with a implant.
Implant in her
What
head or
is
something.
that? That's got to be something too, right?
I don't
I don't know
know
what that would be.
Yeah,
It sounds so weird to just be nothing.
it does.
Yeah, it is.
By the end of the movie, with the end credit scenes, he's talking with.
He's talking about the end of
Thor.
Thor too. Yeah.
Yeah, so like that's got to fit in there
Mm-hmm.
as well, right?
Yeah. I'm glad Odin's not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about that because
That's-
I thought Odin was
Major
killed
spoiler.
by.
That's got to be leading into Ragnarok too, right?
Yeah, and
So-
it said, "All right, I'm coming with you." So
that has to take place between
yeah.
Thor 2 and then Thor 3 coming out.
Yeah.
So
If
I don't know.
anyone can find an awesome timeline, post it.
Yeah.
Now the main villain, what's his name? The Andros guy at the end.
Dormammu?
Dormammu.
Dormammu.
Yeah. What do you think? What did you think about that?
that's one of the names I know from stuff is Dormammu
Yeah.
in his other dimension, and he's trying to invade, and he's trying to get to Earth, and
Now I'm
I was excited.
I'm convinced that voice was Benedict Cumberbatch.
Dormammu's was.
Are you serious?
100%.
I think so too.
100%. That was him.
I
It
could see
sounded
that.
it sounded a lot like him
Yeah.
from Smaug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
I-
done.
I
He's
could see
that
that.
obviously was a CGI like
Motion
motion
capture.
cap kind of
He
face,
did a
right?
motion capture. Yeah.
So I mean, he's done that with Smaug. He's done
But
that.
Shane did say it is like Andros from Star Fox a little bit.
Yeah.
Just that face.
Star Fox.
How do you feel about his plan, his little gimmick, his
So I
gag?
loved it.
The
That was pretty clever.
Oh,
the reliving
Time
loop?
loop. Time loop.
Yeah.
Because it was
Yeah.
in a place with no time, but so he could make himself in a time loop,
yeah.
and then it didn't lose anything.
Well, I wrote down.
I wasn't sure, like, if he was still bound by those rules because they were outside of time.
He's using the Infinity Stone. And
Yeah,
he
Infinity
used
Stone.
it very well, and I like that they trained him up before he actually used it that way. Even though he was because whenever it was the green stuff, that's the Infinity Stone, right?
Yeah.
When he
Yeah.
opens it up.
Well, when he
Yeah.
opens the
Yeah.
the island
Like
thing.
any other time, it's like orange glyph stuff, but whenever he's using that, it's
those are green. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all that for that.
Now, I had thought I wrote this down because it's always in my head. Like whenever they do this kind of time stuff, like Bill Murray and Groundhog Day is supposedly in there for like 10,000 years. Like how
How long
long
do they
did
do
Doctor
that?
Strange really do that? Because this eternal darkness broke after like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this internal darkness is always there unless these sanctums have been there for thousands of years, and that thing broke. I like to think that Doctor Strange was in there for a long time.
Yeah.
You know?
I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean, time was
I mean,
paused.
it wouldn't have mattered for Earth
didn't-
or
I didn't
anything
think
like
it
that.
was-
He would be outside of time.
Of course, that's what I'm saying.
But forcing time on a timeless being.
Yeah, but
It just infuriated him.
because it ended, that means that there was a numerical value of how many times it happened.
Yeah.
I just wonder if we only saw
We saw like
0.0001% of it.
We saw
Yeah.
percent
Yeah.
of how many times.
So that
Well, you
would
could
that
tell
would
by
be
the end, like Doctor Strange was getting
yeah,
very sick of having to say, "I'm
Yeah.
here to negotiate."
I loved his wording there in the very beginning of that too, because that's just what he said. Like, I'm here to make a bargain, every
Yeah.
time. And then he's like, "What? You're dead.
Yeah.
I'm here to make a bargain. What? What's this illusion? No illusion. Here to make a bargain." He's like, "What the fuck's going on?" Shit, dog. And he's like, "I'm just gonna keep killing you. I don't fucking care." And then
Yeah.
eventually, he's like, "Okay, let me go." And he was mad that he was bound to rules that he's like, "I don't abide by these rules. I'm stuck here."
Yeah.
Guaranteed that he
love-
was going to hold up his end of the bargain.
Well, he would have to do that before he released him from his thing, right?
like
Can he
you
just come back out of that?
What do you mean?
Like,
Come-
after he released from his thing and then wait, like,
But he wouldn't
I mean,
have any gateway through without
he-
his zealots.
Most likely what happened is he started doing the recalling of everything, and then he's like, okay, and with him having the access to time, he just went back to Earth and showed up when
Before it
he needed
happened.
to in that.
okay.
So Dormammu was probably already doing everything and closing stuff up and pulling stuff back, and he's like, okay, you're free, I'm going here.
Okay.
I mean, if he didn't, if he's like, all right, no, I tricked you. He's like, all right, we're stuck in here again.
Yeah. I mean, there was no way for him to get away from.
I mean, the concept, I was just wondering, like, can he just show up and do that anytime he wants? Because the concept would be kind
Not without the gateway that his zealots opened up for him.
Okay.
Because the three
Well, they have the sanctums.
the three sanctums on
preventing it.
Earth. Yeah.
Mhm.
And the thing though is the world was stuck, frozen at that point, with the sanctum not destroyed, but also not there fully.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So once that reverted back and had that one sanctum, okay, now we just have to make sure New York and London are good, and we're fine.
Yeah.
And all
They
the
said
zealots
something,
were gone.
one time they said something about London Bridge is falling. Like,
Yeah, they said that.
Did they?
I did not catch that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And I was like,
What did we just watch?
Helsing.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
London Bridge is falling down. Falling down. Falling down. Oh, speaking of New York. Ah, and the Eye of Man.
Yep.
Ah.
I like London Has Fallen. It's a good one.
The Everest scene, which was cool, reminded me of Bruce Almighty.
Mm-hmm.
But I mentioned this to Shane when we were doing it. Like, you think that there's like stepping over dead bodies up there? Cause
And I was like
she's taken many people there before.
there's a lot of dead bodies.
More of those like again.
Well,
Yeah.
No, he means from the people who climb
like
up.
there's like Blue Jacket guy, and like there's people that like they die up there and they can't get them down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know,
they can't
like
recover the
so,
bodies.
and they also don't decompose because it's so cold.
Oh.
So when the farther you get to the top, the more dead bodies you see. They're actually landmarks now. It's like when you get to blue coat guy, like turn left. You know, like that's how far that he got. You don't want to make his mistake. Go this way. So I was wondering, like, Doctor Strange is up there. He's like, you know, they have to do this. You know, he's like, ah! He's looking at dead bodies. You know.
So I thought you meant like she just sent people there and they just didn't
No.
pass, so they just died.
No, I mean like the real ones. But
Okay.
that would have been insensitive,
Yeah.
of course.
Oh, yeah.
I like the Beyonce stuff. That was funny.
That was
Yeah.
I didn't think that was
hilarious.
gonna get
With
me as much as
Wong.
it did.
Yeah.
I wrote that down. That's when I first started taking notes, was during the Beyonce
Yeah.
part. And I'm like, oh, I love that. So I wrote that down, and I like that he was just listening to it a little bit later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
cool.
great.
I
Like,
really
huh?
liked
What's
that.
going on? And then right after that, though, the other thing I really liked that also helped explain how fast he could learn
Yeah.
was that not only did he have photographic memory, but he was able to learn while sleeping because of astral reading.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah,
oh my
that was
god.
crazy.
So he's just
Dude, that would be so useful.
right?
I
Can you
know.
edit with that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he has to be conscious to actually like influence things in the physical realm. Like his
He wasn't conscious when he was fucking on the operating table, was he?
well, his body wasn't conscious, but he forced himself out of his body.
Maybe he'd be very powerful.
I don't think
'cause
he-
they were moving a little bit.
I don't think he forced himself out of his body. I think he went unconscious because of being almost dead, and then his astral body came out. Same as the ancient one. I don't think she was conscious during like, we gotta save her and whatnot.
Yeah.
Her astral spirit came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think your body has to be conscious.
Yeah,
at
because once
all.
you do it, I think like it's kind of like it's awakened.
But how much can your spirit do? They were moving stuff, but it
That was with them
fighting
flying
and throwing
across
stuff
the
around.
room.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But
And
that
it
was
was-
cool too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
I like an astral fight. Okay, spirits fighting each other.
Did you guys catch the Sherlock reference?
You mean talking about 177A Becker Street?
Becker Street.
Becker
Yeah.
Street.
But
Yeah.
during the astral fight, actually, it made me think of the Bible about like unseen forces of warfare around you. I was kind of
Yeah.
thinking like all these angels and demons like doing all this awesome choreography.
That'd be cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed that. See, I enjoyed all the astral projection stuff because I couldn't tell if it was CG or not. I know it's lit in a certain way, but I feel like some of their movements in their faces weren't like perfect. So I kind of hit an uncanny valley, but that could have been just the post processing of it. But I really enjoyed like especially that one shot when it went behind her head, and you could see Strange
into his
through
head?
her head.
Yeah,
that was
that
really
was
cool.
neat.
When Angel
I
was-
like
And it
that.
kind of watered it a little bit. That was cool. But I gotta say, the biggest cameo and my favorite role was Carpet from Aladdin. Was in this movie. Did you notice that?
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah,
Eric.
that cape was totally Carpet from Aladdin.
Yes.
I said it to Melanie too in the middle, like,
Really?
Oh.
it's like the
Yes.
from
Yeah.
Aladdin.
It had personality.
To the point where it's beating up
awesome.
people and
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait,
Dude,
Pikachu?
that scene where it was just ragdolling that
That was
poor
kinda
guy,
scary.
That was actually the scariest
Yeah.
bit in the whole movie.
Yeah.
For me.
So it's
Like,
like
just
mailbag
being
question.
trapped.
Not for me. I'm fine with that.
Just being trapped
Needle.
around your head and just banging against the wall and the floor and being unable.
Big ass needle. Yeah.
That's a scary.
I wrote
I don't care about needles.
needle in big ass letters.
But no, the cloak I thought was awesome, and I was
Yes.
so excited that he got it and
Yeah.
everything, and like
As
when he
soon
was
as,
wearing it.
as soon as he
and,
was
like-
walking through the
it
room
was,
with
like,
all the glass
moving,
cases,
I'm like, oh!
I was like, he's gonna find it in here.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's got it there, and then when it defended him, and then like Melanie was talking about the like whenever she walked away and he put it on, it's like,
I'm wiping the tears.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Probably something we'll talk about more in our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. video, but I did like the idea that it's forbidden to create matter in the real world. You can do it in the mirror world, but you can't do it here. And talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that we kind of have something like that
Sometimes
now,
with that,
so
yeah.
that's interesting.
whenever they were fighting in like in I think it was in New York, and they had those doors that went to like places,
Yeah,
and then
Yeah.
he could change it to places, and he threw someone out there
yeah.
in that desert, and they're like running to that empty door. The first thing I thought of was Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice?
Like, you remember like how they had that door and
Yeah.
you went out and there was like those sand like snake things?
Yeah.
But there's like
That's
just
when
a
I
door
stopped
floating
watching.
out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's immediately what I thought. I'm
No, I
like, fuck,
get ya.
that guy's gonna get eaten by a sand snake. But no, there's no Beetlejuice.
So in terms of Infinity Stone, this was the time zone, obviously.
Time zone.
Stone.
This was the Eastern time zone.
We've had the one Loki has, which I believe is Spirit.
Loki's?
Loki had the
The scepter? The mind?
Yeah. That's now in
The
Vision.
Mind Stone?
Mind Stone.
Mind Stone?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Mind Stone. We have...
What was the Tesseract?
The Tesseract, the blue one.
Yeah, the Aether, right?
The Ether from Thor 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy
Was the Power
was
Stone.
the purple one.
Yep.
And then...
They have colors.
Are we missing one still?
There's 6. The
Okay.
Tesseract, and there's the Scepter, and there's the Aether. Like, people were saying, like, TH... They're all spelling Thanos, guys. That was the theory people were talking about online at one point. So I know there's 6. Because there's one for each... There's a small one, and I think the power one's the big one, right?
Yeah. I think so.
I think
don't
the
remember.
one...
The Tesseract's a big one, whatever.
Yeah.
One of them's a big one that goes in the center.
But anyway, so we all know that, the Thanos is coming and that the Infinity Gauntlet has all these stones and we're setting up for this Infinity War, which is going to be 2 movies, part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
Do you find it convenient to the MCU's plot that 3 of these very exclusive, very powerful stones are all on Earth?
Yeah.
I mean, they were supposed to be separated.
They're supposed to be all over the
the
universe.
galaxy.
The universe, right?
Yeah.
Wait, 3 were on Earth?
The Tesseract is on Earth.
Well, it is now, but it wasn't originally. It was on...
Yeah, but I mean,
It was
all
yeah.
of them were originally somewhere else, but they all have made their way to Earth with the Tesseract, the Ether, and
Where's the Ether at now?
Well, the Ether is with the Collector.
It's in the Collector's vault.
Okay, that's on Earth.
Along...
It was on Earth.
Even the ancient one mentions how like everyone's interested in Earth, especially Dormammu.
Yeah.
Is especially interested in Earth.
Yeah.
Like has the whole universe, but really interested in Earth.
True.
So everything's gonna happen.
It's all
on
coming
Earth.
together. I mean, we got a lot of heroes to fill up that roster, and that's not even including Netflix and Agents of Shield if they don't go with that.
So we have one more stone missing then, right?
I believe
so.
one or
We've
two.
got 5 right now. I wasn't expecting the Eye of Agamemnon to be an Infinity Stone.
Really?
Well, when it turned green, I was like, wait, which one is... Oh, that must be the time one.
I'd
makes
said that.
sense.
I'd said that I thought
opened up and there was like a little stone inside.
well, the
we
fact that
said
he was
that we thought
he was
Doctor
changing
Strange
the
would have
apple
Yeah.
different times, right?
Yeah. We'd said that we thought that Doctor Strange would have an Infinity Stone somewhere, but I didn't expect the eye to be one because he's had that in other stuff. I'm like, is that just always one? Or if they take that stone out, will it not do anything anymore? Will it still have powers?
I think it's the same thing like with Vision. Like I don't think it was ever that Vision actually had one in his forehead. I mean, he does now, but I don't think it was like Vision's story from the original source material.
Oh no, I don't believe.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I see.
So it's the same thing. Like
that's just where they implemented it in
gotcha.
MCU.
Yeah.
So they just stuck it there because it was convenient to the story and everything.
I say, as long as Vision's been around, he's had it.
I mean,
I know. I see what you mean.
after years of managing and planning this thing, jeez.
I mean, that's what they
Hoping they all go well.
I think they sealed themselves away for like a year and did phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and then things happen like, can we get Spider-Man? Yes, we can. All right, Inhumans out, this in, So, is it gonna happen again with X-Men?
I think it's down the road.
I don't know. If Fox doesn't, I don't know why not just make a deal where you can also be tied in there. It can't hurt.
I mean, they have
multiverses.
multiverses.
It's only gonna help.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sure, like if you make depending on your deal is you're gonna lose some money or some say in some stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you still are like, okay, well, we're gonna do our X-Men movies that are part of your stuff. All it does is really restrict. Okay, well, we can't do this, this, and this because we're doing this with this. That's all it does.
Hugh Jackman's out though, so
Yeah.
he's my dude.
Find some
No,
new
I
one.
get you.
Find a new
Yeah, find a new one.
one. You can find
Who?
new one. I don't know.
There
I've
are
seen-
lots of people.
I've seen.
I'll shave this right here.
Shave that and just straight across from.
Yeah, I just shave
keep the mutton
this,
chops.
and that's what I'm gonna do.
Tom Hardy. I've seen a lot of really cool like fan photoshops of him, and he's a shorter guy too.
That would
Wolverine is usually a shorter guy.
He is a short
And
guy.
Hugh Jackman is not a shorter man. The only other thing I got is that Doctor Strange in that final scene with Thor, which was awesome. He had his yellow gloves on, which he didn't have the entire
Doctor
movie.
Strange did?
But it's a
Oh,
classic
I didn't
Doctor
notice
Strange.
that.
I didn't notice
You didn't have
that.
one in this
I
either.
was stuck
blue,
on the.
It's like a blue robe with his red cape and then yellow gloves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but in that
I was-
scene he did.
the mug.
Yeah,
I love that Thor was.
I don't like
just-
tea.
Yeah,
I wonder
I
how.
love how Thor was just bewitched by that mug. He was like
yeah.
paying more attention to the stein of beer than Doctor Strange.
Melanie really enjoyed this one
Yes,
moment.
this is my favorite. Who are you, Mr. Doctor?
Yeah.
Actually,
And then later on when he's
Doctor
like,
Who.
Mr. Doctor.
Mr. Doctor.
Yeah, that was funny.
All right, it's Dr. Stephen Strange.
It's strange. Yeah, it kind of is strange.
Yeah.
He was really good in this role.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yes.
I was pleased.
He had a sense of humor. It was awesome. Versus Sherlock, just straight laced. Like,
Yeah.
You know when
I love
I like when I'm pleased.
I knew.
I liked when during the actual fighting thing we were talking about.
Mhm.
Whenever like he was like, shock me more. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. So he's transferring the shock through his spirit.
He's
Yeah.
channeling
Like
it.
that's weird. Okay, but I thought it was kind of a neat idea.
yeah, I like that.
There's so many like neat ideas in this that
That's
Yeah.
like
Neat.
that would be
Insane,
enough for
insanely
Shield.
creative.
Yeah, very.
like he just left that mop closet portal open the whole time.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was hoping
Like,
the carpet.
Number
like,
one, why
would
didn't he
go
close it
through.
before?
Some
So
poor
that guy
immigrant.
couldn't follow through. Number two, anyone could have just walked in there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Like what's all
If
this
I
stuff?
saw that, well,
I'm in New
close the door and
York.
just walk out.
Never come back.
I'd be afraid that people. I guess I salt my shit in people.
Dude, her reaction to that mob falling was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told him, oh my god, that was me.
Yeah.
It sounded like my scream. I'd so do the same
I mean,
thing.
that girl, what's her name?
Christine.
Christine
Palmer.
with the with the watch and stuff. Like, man, she just took everything like a champ, didn't she? Like,
As far as like
she was like
believing
surprised for a little bit, and then she's like, all right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Once I saw a portal out of nowhere,
Yeah.
I was like, all right,
I guess.
whatever, I believe it.
What do
He's
you
Doctor
mean?
I
Strange.
was gonna say they didn't build it up like fucking Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
We-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
I
you
thought-
can't
I
know
mean,
who I am.
she works the ER. She's seen some shit.
Yeah, he doesn't wear a mask. He
Yeah.
didn't even change his name. He
Yeah.
didn't even like, I'm Strange.
Yeah.
He's like, Doctor Strange. I was Doctor Strange before. If you ever heard of me, I was very important in the medical field. Like, it's all just like, here's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Now,
But-
what's some other stuff you got?
Stan Lee's
Oh,
cameo.
I
He had
hate
a
that.
cameo.
little cameo.
Did you see the book
That's
he was reading?
hilarious.
What was the book? Because me and Melanie were talking about that. I'm like, I didn't get to see what it was.
It was like other dimensions and strange sights or something. By I didn't get to see the author's name, but it was basically like a conspiracy book.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
So it was that kind of thing. And he's like, ha, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had heard, and speaking of like planning ahead, like we were talking about, like I had heard that they've shot the next like 5 Stan Lee cameos.
Really?
One, because he is getting up there in age. He's 90.
Yeah.
That
Is
guy's
he really?
90, and
He's freaking hilarious.
he's going to cons
pimping
and
it
running
out
around.
last year.
But he can't. You know, when you're that old, you can't really fly much, and so they've already filmed a bunch of stuff they can kind of insert into these movies. So I'm glad they're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I just
That's
don't
cool.
want to see more movie where it doesn't happen.
They should film like
You know?
50 of them.
I always
Yeah.
forget it's coming.
Yeah.
I see it and go, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
That way we just, for years,
Like, I'm not
it-
looking for the Stan Lee
say he
cameo.
dies at like 95, we still have like 20 years of Stan Lee cameos that come
Yeah.
out. You
Yeah.
know? Like, that'd be
That'd
awesome.
be awesome.
Because he created all of this. It would be really cool for him to be able to actually live on through his work.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be cool.
Yeah.
I did not know like any story of Mordo.
Yeah.
But like when I saw him, I'm like, I
I'm pretty sure.
thought he was a bad guy.
Yeah, I was pretty sure he's a bad guy.
I was like,
kept
maybe
waiting.
I've confused it. Maybe he's actually like the sidekick to him.
Yeah.
But then like later on, I'm like, okay, Wong
Yeah.
was his sidekick. That's right.
Mhm.
So like I'm like, and then when he left, I'm like, okay, so he will. And then the ending credit, the final one,
Yeah.
like that one, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, that makes more sense. And now
Yeah.
I know.
Have we ever had a after credit scene, like any after credit scene that had that much action or something happening in it? Like an actual like good effect, like of him doing something and like setting up that much.
Setting up that much for the next movie.
It's
I
always
thought
just been
of
like
Thor.
it's always been like oh, there's Loki and
Howard the
there's
Duck.
the,
How about
there's
Thanos sitting in space,
yeah no
Yeah,
I
that's
get you. I
grabbing
mean
his gauntlet?
yeah. I just thought
I'm just
when
trying to
I was
think
watching,
now.
I was like, man, it's kind of, the movies kind of keep going,
Yeah.
versus just a stinger.
I get
Yeah.
you.
I don't really have much else other than I loved Moro's weapon.
Mordos,
Yeah.
the like
Mordo.
staff thing.
Yeah, the staff.
Oh, like the
that
Oh,
broke
the
apart.
the relic.
expanding
Yeah.
staff.
Now
yeah.
I'm assuming the cape is a relic, and that's what
Yes.
shows
I have
him,
to-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
amulet
I think
is
that
not.
whole room was actually relics.
Yeah. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Like that trap relic thing that he
The
had.
trap relic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really
that
cool.
cape's like, hey, over here, idiot!
Yeah.
Look at this wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can you have more than one, or do you want?
Mordo did. He had the
he had the-
staff and the boots.
He had the boots.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
I like the kind of like theme, especially in the beginning. I guess with the whole thing about like other ways to save lives.
Mhm.
Like whenever like in the very beginning, he's like, "Well, I'm gonna do this and save thousands and thousands of lives."
Yeah.
It's like you just save one a day or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, there's more than just one way to save lives." And then even later on, when they're talking about it, and then Stephen Strange finds a totally different way to save people,
Yeah.
which
No,
I like that. It's a fun theme.
And jumping off of that, I also enjoyed he has a very natural and organic way of getting that superheroes don't ever kill people by signing the Hippocratic Oath.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I was a doctor. I
Yeah.
don't kill people, and now I
Like,
did.
I'll never do it again, or whatever he said.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I think that's going to be everything for our Doctor Strange review. Really loved it. I definitely want to go see it again. Maybe in 3D. I'm not sure. I generally don't love 3D.
I'll take Antivert before I go.
Yeah.
I gotta just see what the critics say about the 3D. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
If it's any good.
I imagine. I mean, that stuff is crazy.
It's too good to not be good.
I think
visuals
the
were
only
so
Marvel
good.
movie I've seen in 3D was Captain America, the first one.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw it in 3D once, and it was pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
the shield was, whoa.
I generally only go see 3D movies if they're actually shot with a 3D camera and not the
That's what I'm saying.
2D conversion. But so much of this is built in 3 dimensions
Yeah.
that it's gonna have the same effect, you know?
Yeah. Like, whenever he was running down the hallway, and then he wasn't moving, but then the hallway was moving away,
Yeah.
that'd be a crazy shot in 3D.
The opening fight scene where
The ancient one?
the ancient one put them in the mirror realm.
Yeah.
Mordo mentioned that since they were taking power from Dormammu, that they were more powerful in the mirror realm.
Yeah.
She was more powerful in the mirror realm at that point
Because she.
because she was siphoning power from another dimension.
Yeah.
But they hadn't yet.
Yeah. No, I like
That's
that.
why she just totally wrecked them the first time
That was cool.
and couldn't stand up the second time.
I enjoy the visual cue of the little thing on her forehead too, because
Yeah.
when it happened, I was like,
Fucking Avatar.
I know. I was
Yeah.
like, "Bang!"
yeah, it's pretty much.
When it showed a shot from behind of her.
Yeah.
Well,
It looked
she's
like
in
it.
yellow, like
Yeah.
from behind. That
I mean,
definitely looks
she
like
was in the movie a lot more than I thought she was gonna be.
Where's her scar? Well, yeah, when they were talking about the books in the library, and Wong was like, this is for the Sorcerer Supreme. I'm like, wait, Doctor Strange is Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
And then, like, later on, they called her Sorcerer Supreme. Like, oh, well, she's fucking dying.
Exactly. So that was our review of Doctor Strange. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Down in the description is all links to our social media. Blindwave.net has
stuff, shirts, mugs.
And we'll see you next time. I'm Eric.
I'm Shane.
I'm Calvin.
I'm Melanie.
I'm Aaron.
Button.
Hey, we have a button!